Sam, tell us about everyone's favorite lullaby song. Featuring our friend Bryce.
Yes. So I talked about this a little bit in a previous stream and a little bit in the one this morning. As I've mentioned before, it was a very personal song to me. I have now a 3-year-old, but he was not quite 1 when I wrote the song, which it's unbelievable how long ago it's been. God. Yeah. Or maybe he was not quite 2. I think he was 1. I wrote the song in December of 2020.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's blowing my mind. Anyway, I, as a parent, happen to love my son kind of a lot, and so the song was really, it was because in its description, it was outlined as like a parent's love letter to their child of like really wanting them to be safe and comfortable and just like trying to reassure a child that everything's going to be all right no matter what. And that was how it was outlined to me from Vivienne. And then, obviously then it was going to be interrupted by the contrast of the failing marriage and the family falling apart. And I just really, I felt so personally this idea of like looking at my baby son and saying, oh my God, there is nothing I wouldn't do to make sure that everything turns out okay for you. And so, it really was an example of taking such a simple concept and such a simple phrase, like you will be okay. And injecting as much emotion and sentiment and love into that as possible. And obviously the song was incredibly well received and incredibly well performed, sir.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I remember the day we recorded that, and you said, well, do you just want to hear it once through? And Bryce said, no, I want to try, let's try it right away.
Yeah.
And the very first take was like, we were all, whoa. Who is this guy? He should be on Broadway.
As this happens with Bryce, I think a lot is that we will get you in for a song and we'll say like, hey, do you want to just, you want to hear it? Do you want to play with it? Do you want to just take it chunk by chunk? And then you'll just do it start to finish. And
always.
I mean, everything we have comped from you in all the things that you've sung, so much of it comes from like your first 3 takes. I mean, really, you just nail it immediately. You're ready. Well, and I should add about Richard that like, once I get everyone's audio for the stuff that I'm working on, the first thing I do is like I lay it out in like pitch software, like I see where everyone's at. Often it's just kind of close enough because everyone's so talented that I don't really have to do much to it. You are dead on. Your pitch is uncanny. You are. I said this when we recorded a duet that you guys will hear in a future season. Truly, like nothing was even tweaked. I mean, it was like the raw take was like exactly what. There was actually. So I'm trying to keep an eye on various questions. Is it possible to also get like a readout or like an iPad that has the chat or something? Just because I'm sort of multitasking here a little bit. There was a really interesting question that someone asked that has nothing to do with the music. But but I want to ask it for someone because I'm also now really curious.
Okay.
That's the best kind of question. We're like, I don't know the answer, and now I want you to tell me. Would various members of the Helluva Boss cast be aware of the existence of Charlie's Hotel?
That's a good question. Aware, yes.
Okay.
But to avoid, any potential future, any whatever, I don't know past that. But aware, yeah.
Aware. I like knowing that. And on that note, actually, someone asked a question, and looks like they paid £10 to ask this question. They were asking it for you specifically, Bryce, which was about your beginnings as an actor that took you from, you know, the start of your career to Stolas. And in fact, on that note, Vivienne was just telling us this really interesting story about how you came to be approached for the role, which you could, I mean, also repeat for these kind of people.
Yes, this one.
Yes, that was the question.
This is from James M.
I don't know which you want to start.
Oh, yeah, I'll let Bryce start for sure.
Sure. I guess the question was about how did some choices in acting and what I chose to do in my career lead me to Stolas. And, you know, I think most actors will tell you they don't know. Things just sort of, you walk through doors when they open. And the choices I've made have been sort of like what's been available to me. And I know that I want to work doing creative performance. And so I found myself leaving acting school and wanting a job. And the first job that I got in New York was in a musical. So I kind of, I'd done musicals as a kid, but I kind of said, oh, maybe this is where I can make a living. And so I started to kind of work more and more on my singing voice. And I think Viv can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that performances on Broadway singing probably led Viv to think of me as somebody who might be possible for this role. And I think when I saw the character description, one of the descriptions was like a character that I had done. So I was like, well, at least I got half of this this description.
That's a good segue into that story.
Yeah, that's what I was telling them was that, you know, casting for the show was kind of the first time that I was casting, you know, an actual, you know, because even the pilot was it was the first time working like with SAG and with like SAG actors and stuff, but like casting for season 1 of Helluva was the first time I was ever casting, like authentically, because I kind of had my cast pretty picked out for the pilot. And I had, you know, people who could connect me with the right people. And so when it was casting time for the series, it was a whole new world of like getting everyone, you know, getting reads and hearing all these different takes on characters. And for Stolas, I had already kind of had an idea in my head, and like I find a lot of my character, or I find a lot of inspiration through music. So a lot of like the voices or the voice types that I would like for characters are through music I listen to. And so I was familiar with your performance in Gentleman's Guide, and there was a song from it that really gave me the feel for Stolas, and so it was one of the audition songs. And then it occurred to me, because I would listen. I was in a conversation with the casting director, and I was like, I wonder if this actor or the singer like might be interested, like this person, yeah. like because I was like, oh, you know, something like that. Could you see if this actor is interested? Yes.
And maybe? Don't send him.
And I did, and then when they did make contact, I was like, well, you probably don't need to send that song. I already know this person can sing. Yeah. And they did anyway. And so because when you sent in your read, it made me laugh so hard. You were like, well, I'm probably not going to sound as good as the person who's recording.
Yeah, I made a joke out of it. That's right.
The lore realization about correct me if I'm wrong, but someone was asking about Verosika, of saying, oh, well, was Verosika a pop star when she was alive? But correct me if I'm wrong, is Verosika just kind of born in hell?
Yes, Verosika's a succubus, so she was not alive.
I'll say.
But if Verosika was a living pop star, which one would she be, Christina?
A living, wait, oh my gosh. That is, oh man, it would have to be like somebody like Kesha with like party music. It's kind of like it's about having a good time. I'm gonna say somebody like Kesha would be pretty sweet.
See her as Christina Aguilera too. She's got a lot of that.
Oh, she has like the hair for sure.
Yeah.
What Helluva Boss character has not gotten a song that you would really like to give a song?
Oh man. Well, season 2 has a bunch of songs from characters who have not sung yet, so there are some. But just in general, I really would love to give Vivian Nixon more songs.
Oh,
yes. I mean, all the characters though. Like, there's so many different kinds of songs, And obviously, I can't say too much about season 2, but in season
2.
But we're working on it right now, and we're getting all the songs like comped and prepared for them. And there's some really cool genres that we take the characters through. And I know, Bryce, you sang one for Stolas that's very outside of like the normal sound for Stolas.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited for everyone to hear that.
Yeah.
No. So that one, I'm very excited for everyone to hear some of like the kind of, there's some diversifying musical styles as well.
Absolutely. A question which we all get a lot, which is about a soundtrack coming out, and like the answer is yes. Like we're just crossing the T's and dotting the I's on the legal for that, but like absolutely the plan is to get a soundtrack out with, like full versions of the songs sung by the characters. So
that'd be dope.
We want you to have all that.
Yes.
It is definitely, it's in progress.
Yeah.
It's actually, speaking of, someone said Loona song.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Actually, because she hasn't done any yet, so yeah,
that's a good one.
Absolutely would love to have Erica sing something.
She did the original of the pilot, but that's
yes.
Yeah, but
she did do the pilot. She sang when she played Millie in the pilot.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be super fun to do. Just like
a punk song.
Oh yeah, that'd be
punk
great.
Song. That would be great.
That'd be great. Aw.
I'm changing my answer to my
Okay, who are you?
Doja Cat.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's Doja Cat is real life Verosika. I totally.
Yes.
That is absolutely correct.
Vivian, who's Doja Cat?
Doja Cat.
Very
is
popular right now.
I knew that.
So Richard, Bryce, and Christina, what are some funny outtakes you had on set? Also, thanks again for the autographs from last year, especially the BD message from Bryce and Stolas. So this is from. I cannot say your username. I'm so sorry. It is a lot of letters.
Akira reusing 2010.
Yes.
Go ahead, Christina. You first. Do you remember any of the funny outtake stuff?
Oh man, I don't know if I remember any funny outtakes, but I feel like the lyrics themselves would be what an outtake would be.
Yeah. How about you, Bryce?
Yeah, I certainly remember just the feeling of like cracking ourselves up in the booth. And sometimes that being from a word said wrong or a different word said or
we didn't expect to come out of your mouth.
or spots where we'd be where you'd give us permission to improvise a little bit, and that just, to me, when we're making ourselves laugh, that feels like the sweet spot of creativity and where the best and worst ideas come from. And sifting through the best and worst ideas is somebody else's job, but the artist's job, at least.
Yeah, we were just saying that this morning, that we're enjoying each other's company, we're making each other laugh, and we don't know what the audience is going to think about it, but in that moment, it's always been my belief that if we're having fun, you're going to have fun, and that's why I think the sense of play and fun that Bryce was just talking about is very important. For me, I have a lot of outtake stuff because I get to work. I get to direct myself, and Viv gets to direct me and stuff. But I think it's a song that isn't out yet. It's a duet that I have with, I can say Millie, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I have
so
a duet,
shocking.
Yeah, I have a duet with Millie, and we didn't get to record together, and there's like some really strong harmony in there, and so we never got to hear each other recording at the same time. And then when you played it the first time, you take it, Sam.
They just did not line up.
Our harmonies did not even come close.
Melodically, the harmonies lined up. Timing wise, it was just very, very different. And then also, like, this was a song that, because it was in the midst of the songwriting process for the other show, I was not able to be around for either sessions of this one. And normally, I'm always around to kind of like police the melody and the timing and the performance and the stuff with it. But like, I just wasn't there for these. And then I got these and I lined them up and I went, oh no, these are two different songs.
It was really not good.
But we re-recorded Richard, and it just how it sounds now is delightful. I mean, also, like, were I there in Vivian's session, then I probably would have even changed the key of the song.
Yeah.
Because there's a note there that is really, really low for her.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there is a note that Vivian performs, and it's like, you can see, it's just like such, it's like down there.
Really
So low.
And were we recording that on the day, I would have said, oh, don't worry about it, I'll mess with the key of the song and we'll come back to it like, you know, a couple semitones higher. But keeping it that way, it was like this happy little accident where picturing Millie singing the note like that was so in character and funny, and it was like totally Millie's enthusiasm of like, I don't care what this note is, I'm gonna sing it.
That's
like,
right.
and it just
did a
becomes
good job with it, even though she was like, this is not my key.
it's this beautifully in character moment that like when you hear it, you're gonna see like, oh yeah, this is such a funny, genuine Millie moment of like, no, I'm playing game with you. I'll meet you in your key, Moxxie. And it's just like, it ended up being this beautiful, hilarious accident that like, you know, one of those things that happens in the booth. I mean, my favorite of all the improvisational things that happened. This is an interesting, I mean, it's not a music question, but it's you know, again, it's a question that I don't know the answer to, so I'm so curious, which is like, obviously, Hazbin was this thing that came first, and you're like, okay, here's this environment in hell and all that. What made you think like, hey, what about making another story in this universe?
That's a fun one. I mean, I'll keep it brief. Basically, I was developing where Hazbin would go, and this is how Hazbin came about too, because Hazbin was part of a different story at one point in my life, and I get really attached to characters I create because I treat every character like they could be the star of their own show, and I created these. I was developing these imp characters and the boss character, and I was like, you know what? I think these characters don't belong in this show. I don't think they belong in this story, because I think they have a story of their own. And through developing Helluva and meeting Brandon and just creating it. It became the other side of this universe that I've kind of created in my head. And so Helluva just literally is just the other side of the coin of this world, because it has to do with the actual, like, the politics of hell and the goetic demons and I've always wanted to do my own take on some of them. So like Stolas is a character that, exists in the Ars Goetia, and like I wanted to explore that. I was like, I love, because if you've ever seen a picture of like what Stolas is depicted as, it basically just looks like a Furby with legs. And I was like, I love that. So it always stuck with me. And I was like, I want to do my own take on this character that, like from this, this.
What if he was horny?
Yeah, what if he was like really tall and horny and stuck in like a sad mare, like
Bryce, make him! We got it!
I know who we should get.
After that?
He's sad a lot. It was really cool to like expand the universe, and then this is a musical style. I kind of answered this in the live stream, but to separate the shows like spiritually a little bit more as well, Helluva is more of a non-digetic musical. That's correct.
Yeah.
I always get it mixed up which one's which, but where the songs are coming from the universe. Like I have to kind of find an excuse for there to be a song number in Helluva Boss versus Hazbin, which is like a Disney where they just burst in a song. And so, but part of me though, the further we get into the show, the part of me that is starting to not care as much. So we'll see how much manifesting musical stuff happens in Helluva Boss, or maybe there's just more drug trips.
This is a very easy and fun question to answer about the music. It comes from B Heart Symbol, looks like. It's what kind of genres are you guys interested in experimenting with in the future, in and out of the show, that are coming in the show? It's almost hard to think of a genre. There are really only kind of two genres that, to my knowledge, have not just been like fully explored in the show or already are songs that are coming in the next season. And I can't think of like a full hip hop song. And I cannot think of like a full like techno house dance song. Like those are the two things that I can't really think of. But there's a lot of dance pop. So
yeah, Verosika would be that way.
Yeah.
She would be the yeah.
But I mean, there's so much. There's
I'll do the
country.
hip hop.
Yeah, that's not to say that there is no rap, because there's a K-pop song that has rap in it.
Oh.
A ton of like arena pop.
Yeah.
There's like some sweet acoustic duets. There's a lot of Broadway style
amazing
stuff.
songs in season 2. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one episode.
My favorite thing we recorded with Bryce was we had a very sort of Danny Elfman Broadway track. That one you're gonna lose your shit. There's nothing that's off the table, and that's one of the things that I love so much creatively about this show, is that there's an excuse. There's like sexy funk music in this one. Yeah. There's circus music. Like there can always be an excuse to do a new kind of thing. There is one track that I would describe as sort of the Moxxie's bad trip of its season, musically and creatively, that contains like Broadway and like 80s techno and like metal and crooner music, like all in one track, in one sick twisted gumbo.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear.
Do you plan songs in advance, or do you let the writing lead you to a moment where you go, I think we need a song here, Sam, what do you think? Or are you saying, hey, I want to make sure we have 2 songs next episode, one of them's for so and so and one of so and so, let's write to those songs? Or is the writing leading you to song moments?
It's kind of a mix. Sometimes it's like I'm very diehard, like, especially when we're approaching an episode or season, I'm like, I want this character to have a song. Like, we just, we want to explore it, and I want them to be able to express. And sometimes it is through the writing. Like, we'll be writing an episode, and we'll be kind of deciding what moments feel like they're musical. The other challenge, like I said earlier, with Helluva being this non-digetic musical, I do also have to plan story-wise, like, what makes the most sense in this scenario, because what we do first is that we create outlines for basically the building blocks for the season, because the show is becoming very serialized. So it's episodes are self-contained, but they all kind of flow into the overarching narrative. Yeah. So there is an ongoing story. So because of that, we do try to kind of building block it out the season before we dive in. And so when we do that, we figure out what the kind of excuse for this music will be in each episode. Yeah. So it's like, oh, this one is very easy. They go to a concert or whatever. Yeah. Or Verosika's she's at a beach, so she's doing her performance. Or
Verosika is one of my favorite characters too, because in universe you're a pop star, so we just get to write you great pop star music.
It's very easy, but and with Stolas, it's there's I can't say too much about season 2 yet, but
season
each one
2
each one is Stolas is the most, I think, classic musical theater, in the sense that he is so emotional, and he is kind of a character that can sing, so it's he can just kind of go into songs because he's very dramatic. So there's moments where we can kind of manifest a song just because he's feeling a lot, so he's gonna express it. But he's actually kind of singing out into the universe. So, so we have to kind of address that as well. But yeah, we usually find it through when we're breaking those building blocks, and then finding what's the realistic reason we can bring a song into this. And some of them are easy, and some of them are more, we have to be creative, they're on drugs, or they're this or that. But it's really fun to find that. And then sometimes I'm just like, I want this character to sing. So in one of these episodes, we got to find out how we can get that character to sing. Oh, what song would Blitz sing in the shower? Oh man. What song would Blitz sing in the shower?
Let me tell you what I picture.
Yes.
I picture him sudsing himself up, going, it's Britney, bitch. That's mentally for me, like I can picture that very easily.
Yeah. That's very, very, very in character. Another, I mean, I know Blitz. I kind of base Blitz around rock. So if there's like a fun rock song, I'm not as big on rock myself, funny enough. So that's why I'm like, is there a song? That makes it.
Well, he is singing that song in the van.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Mustang Dumb.
The Mustang Dumb song.
Yeah.
Let's go with that for now.
Yeah.
That's a song you clearly
something
knows.
that involves hip thrusting.
Yes.
Yeah. She's my cherry pie.
Yeah. Yes. That one. That's a good one.
That's a good one. What do you think Blitz would sing in the shower? What does Moxxie sing in the shower?
It would have to be Hamilton for sure.
Yeah,
How does a bastard orphan and a Scotsman dropped in the middle of a forgotten by providence impoverished?
To anyone who knows, like, or I feel like every cast member has seen you go into Hamilton at some point, but like at least between sessions.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bryce ever saw me go into Hamilton. Did you, Bryce?
That's not true. It's been on every stream, and
Yeah.
I'm break your streak.
I was gonna say, I don't think there's a single cast
Timothy
member.
and Doja, what to say to you? Okay.
And really, Richard is pigeonholing himself. I've seen him sing all manner of stuff during sessions. There was like a couple weeks where it was nothing but Suddenly Seymour.
Suddenly Seymour.
Actually, why don't we go around with that? What is Verosika's shower song?
Verosika's shower song. Come back to me. Come back to me.
Dang it.
Stolas?
Like me.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I can go through other character. Let's see.
Yeah,
Okay.
Give us a
Yeah,
minute.
What is
Moxxie's
Loona's
in
shower
one.
song?
Moxxie's is Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. That's my,
Yeah.
What is Luna's?
Oh man.
Oh God, she's so...
That's another, okay.
Maybe she's singing a Morrissey song.
I'm in a, is Green Day punk?
Someone-
Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
There we go.
Oh,
There's the
that's
edge.
nice.
Yeah. People are suggesting that it's Slave for You by Britney Spears
That's a good one.
for Verosika. That's a good one.
I'm thinking it needs to be like more women scorned. We need like some Carrie Underwood.
Oh, yeah.
Before he cheats.
Yeah.
Yeah, before he cheats, yeah.
Or Burn from Hamilton, Richard.
Oh,
That's a good one.
I can't even do Burn.
He's gonna get started.
Throwing these letters away. I'm burning them up today. That's the only lyrics I know.
That's exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
What do we think? Stolas shower song? I mean, obviously it's a pure hypothetical because Stolas takes long, luxurious baths.
That's true.
A bad song.
I'm caught between like a sort of more earlier like crooner song, like fly me to the moon, something like that.
Well, that's sweet.
Yes.
Rubber Ducky.
Or Rubber Ducky, yeah. Just because he's in the bath by himself. But then I don't know, there's gotta be some like I want to hear from the fans. Like what do they want to hear Stola sing? There was a while where I did some like as part of one of these signings, I did sort of like Stola's karaoke. I said you can order a song, and record a couple songs, and I'm trying to remember some of the ones I did because they were great. Our fans have great ideas,
So when
Great
Stola
taste.
sings Shaggy, it wasn't me.
Yes, exactly. Wasn't me.
That's great. We have Leo Lokison says, loving everything Asmodeus and curious if we'll get more music from him or from the Lustring in general.
Yes.
Very much yes.
Very much yes.
Yes.
A lot of
Plenty. And someone also asked if there would be any duetting between Blitz and Stolas, to which I say... Perhaps.
Eventually.
Mayhaps.
Mayhaps.
So, just, keep an ear out, perhaps. Will there be Helluva Boss sheet music? That's a very good question. Got a lot of sheet music for these terrific performers because often we are asked for it. So, it exists. So it's certainly, I feel like it's certainly plausible that it gets released.
Yes.
This is also very interesting. Every canon relationships couple song.
That's a good. I just saw that one, and I'm like, man.
That is from
course,
Kim Lechman.
Today, I would be very dead on songs titles, because there's some good there's so many complicated relationships in the show.
Yeah.
So I'm like.
Okay, Stolitz holding out for a hero.
Yes, that's a good one.
What is Moxxie and Millie's couple name?
Eminem.
I love that. Eminem.
8 Mile. Oh no, okay.
Yeah.
What is
Crazy in Love?
Crazy in Love's pretty good.
Maybe I love I Would Do Anything for You from
Yes.
my Meatloaf.
Ooh.
And I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
I gotta write you a Meatloaf style song.
Yeah.
That's,
That's
I'm
it.
filing that away in the bank.
But I remember every little thing.
The shower song. Someone says the bird is the word for Stola. I thought that was a funny answer.
Bird is a word. Bird.
Yeah, Stolitz could also be bad romance, or maybe that is and Verosika is bad romance.
That kind of applies to all the Blitz relationships.
Yeah, relationships. They're all bad romances.
Yeah.
We are talking about it.
We are talking about
We
it.
would love to do that.
Yeah, so I have actually even reached out to a venue in LA, and then in theory that goes well, and then we start doing one in New York, and then perhaps at your local Comic-Con, viewer. That's also a possibility.
And Bryce can stay with us.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Bryce
We'll keep Bryce in a little box.
Yes.
And we'll put him out.
He'll have a little
Travel very
tuxedo.
easily.
Time to sing "Bird is the Word."
Bird,
There you go. Off you
go. Yeah, well, that would be wonderful.
Yes. Which characters would enjoy Queen, and what song would they sing? From Sloop Frick. What a name.
Interesting. I feel like all the characters would like Queen.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's a good ending
The number
question
one
for
song
that.
for all of them would be Another One Bites the Dust.
Oh,
There it
that's
is,
so
right
good.
there.
That's
IMP theme.
the IMP one.
Yeah. That's great. Will there ever be a segment in either Hazbin Hotel or Helluva where it's just a character going crazy on piano or guitar? There is, in fact, on the other show, there is a piano solo moment that does occur.
Yes.
Someone named Lyra Len says, Bryce, during Stolas's rants, the sexual rants, were you actually spewing nasty stuff, or did you record just gibberish in between the lines? I happen to know the answer because these two told me that you were recording absolute filth, weren't you?
No comment.
Just pure smut.
Yeah, it was. I think it was one of the first things we did, wasn't it?
Yes. And-
Richard was
and
like,
I-
"Just make something up," and this was like beginning of pandemic, So I hadn't done anything in a while, and I just remember being like, "Okay, here we go."
Oh, and we were just talking about that, Bryce, because we were talking about how the show, explores some very adult themes and a lot of adult language, and it was our first session with you, and so I think I was very cautious about how I approached you about it. I said, so we have this scene where you have to talk sexual things and you can say whatever you want. Don't worry. Don't feel okay. And then you're like, okay.
Yeah.
We were like, okay.
Just blew the hair back on Richard's head.
Very fun. It was such a welcome surprise.
It was so fun.
It informed me and Richard that it's you were game for anything the
game,
show was
yeah.
gonna throw
Yeah.
at you.
Yes.
And because
great.
I think initially like what I did with it and what I do with it when Stolas goes off like that is that it becomes a bunch of censor bleeps. So it was like a situation where it didn't like you could have said anything and I would have found places to make it sound dirty.
Yeah,
but the actual like things you were saying
made
were
it so
actually
easy.
Yeah.
so it was very fun to censor out.
Please never ever release it ever.
Except for peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
But to segue into Christina also, like I know that you do a lot of like younger audience projects, so I know like this character is just so much more raunchy than a lot of things you do.
There were a lot of questions about two characters in particular as well that I'm seeing people like be like, I gotta get this in before the timer.
Okay.
One of them is Loona. People are asking, are we gonna see more Loona-centric episodes? I know that the answer is extremely yes. And the other one was Fizz, and people were asking, is there gonna be more Fizz music, and is there gonna be more Fizz with Ozzy? The answer to both is like big yes.
Massive yes.
Big, so much yes.
So don't worry.
Yeah, there's a whole lot more Fizz.
A lot of Fizz in season 2. A lot of Stolas in season. I mean, a lot of
Loona.
But
we go deep in
a lot.
season 2. Season 2 is good. Everyone gets good storylines in season 2.
And I guess just because it happened in the last stream, and I'll say it in this one. I know it's been a very long time since we've gotten an episode out. We are painfully aware. We are working incredibly hard. The studio is seriously killing it. It's just that the episode that we're making is really ambitious, and there's also kind of a legal element that we just has taken a long time to kind of sort out. But it's very close, and it's
I've seen it. It's unbelievable.
It's definitely
it's really good.
It's gonna be worth the wait. And then we also have made a lot of progress already on season 2 as well. So the next
season 2
shouldn't
spoiler alert
shouldn't take too much long after 108. And also they are longer, so they'll also be very worth a solid wait because they're much more content.
At least one of these episodes is like a full half hour.
Yes, one of them is a full half hour.
Yeah. There's the artist Q&A next weekend.
Oh, there's the artist Q&A next weekend. So there's an artist Q&A next weekend. So